Estate with Champions Real Estate Team here, Berkshire Hathaway Home Service Ambassador Real Estate Company. My name is Mark Wehner, the second team leader here. So every Wednesday we jump on and go over kind of what's gone on in the real estate market over the last week. Also joining me today is Russ Williams with Williams Mortgage. So he'll kind of give us a rundown here in just a little bit about what's going on in the mortgage industry, but we always like to talk about our quick tips. Russ and I were just talking before we jumped on here, we're starting to see a lot of the tax assessor numbers coming out for your assessed value. So want to pay attention to those. We've seen some jump in those. Some of them obviously you can protest any of them. Now you have to have valid evidence and a rebuttal of why you feel your house is either overassessed or should be priced a little bit lower. And with how the market has gone the last couple of years, we've seen a pretty steady appreciation, which we talk about here a lot on our video. But there are times where the assessor gets a little crazy and gets, they kind of blanket, raise the assessed values across the area, different areas. I've gone and successfully protested some of those down at the county levels. I did one for my personal house here in Washington County. Done my prior residence in Douglas County. Done it for other clients and friends and stuff. So anybody can go down and protest. You, the property owner, don't have to be the person to actually go down and protest. So I've done it for my clients. Having an expert like myself, in the market doing this every single day, helps to have have evidence. You can't just say, well, I don't feel my house is worth this, and then go in there and just kind of throw a number at them. They're going to tell you, sorry, here's what the solds are in the neighborhood. But if you have comparable solds and you can kind of go back and forth. The other thing Russ and I were talking about too is sometimes the county just doesn't have the right information. Some houses have extra square footage and, they may see that you may, like Russ was saying, the example at a 2-story entryway, and at the county assessor, they had that as like just a 1-story where basically you had a ceiling on the entry and they counted that extra, 100 to 200 square feet of finished second level, side of it there. And then, but sorry about that. My school is out, so I get the kiddos here, so watching TV. But yeah, so the assessed value, what I was saying is you got to make sure that they have the right square footage on there, because then you're getting tax assessed for that square footage that you don't actually have in your house. So that's just a simple way to say, hey, you got an extra 200, 300, 400, 100 square feet on the assessed value that's not actually there. They may have to come out and inspect it, or obviously you can take pictures and just, provide that evidence to them as best as you can. A lot of times they're like, okay, we made a goof. But like I said, if you just go down there and you're just grumpy about the assessed value that you have on your house because your taxes are too high, they're just gonna say, well, I'm sorry, it's what the real estate market has indicated. So there's been times where I felt it was, for me personally, some of my investment properties, I'm like, I look at the assessed value, I'm like, I'm gonna keep my mouth closed, because sometimes the assessed value is, at 190 and the house is next door selling for 250. I'm not gonna go down there and tell them, hey, my house should be less than this. Well, they have it at 190. In the house next door selling for two. Oh, well, that's what it is. Well, let's move that up to 230. And now I'm paying $40,000 more assessed value on my house, and I just shot myself in the foot type of thing. So just be mindful of that aspect of it. Yeah, and then so if you have questions on that, give us a holler, 672-7670 on that. But yeah, assessed values doesn't come out, and your protest period is basically starts essentially next week. Because I think it's in June 1st to the end of June, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Russ, but I think that's where that assesses. It's the month of June. You have an opportunity to submit that protest. Then I think it goes into July if they actually have the board. I'm trying to think. I draw a blank on the
Nebraska Tax Equalization Review Commission.
Yes, equalization board or whatever. Yeah, that they hear your case or whatever in that sense. If it gets to that point, sometimes you're going to go to the assessor.
Equalization.
The people at the office will just change it. But if they're like, no, and then you want to protest it again, appeal it, I guess, then you go down the line and down the chain in that regard. So, but yeah, so tax assessed values, if you have questions on it, give us a holler in that regard. So we'll jump into what's going on in the real estate market. So obviously last week was Memorial Day, Memorial weekend. So typical, we didn't see like a huge increase in houses going live over the weekend. So I think we're at 500 or so the previous week. We're at 400, 362. We still had roughly about the same amount of new contracts. So buyers were still out there. Like I said, buyers are going to keep looking, and so that's why I said, like, if you put that house on the market over the holiday weekends, you're going to get those serious buyers. You may not get crazy amounts of offers, but you're going to get the serious buyers that are out there. So we had 60 new contracts, 387 happy new homeowner. Congrats to them. They had that little extra day to get moved into their place. But yeah, so I mean, I think we're seeing, that side. So I think usually now is where we see a pretty good ramp up. Just historically over my 16 years, just kind of after this Memorial Day, kids are out of school. People are like, all right, now we got to get serious with, let's go get a house, or let's get the house on the market. Let's get it on. And you see kind of a pickup up until the 4th of July. 4th of July comes, and then between 4th of July and the start of school, I think you start seeing a lot of people going family vacations and all that kind of stuff. And you see it kind of level out as far as activity wise. Just kind of what we see historically. But I still think we still have a lot of activity, pent up activity and things of that sort in there. So let's take a look at 30,000-foot view. Here we go. Share this side. So this number, like I said, this is kind of that 30,000-foot view. It doesn't show much huge, fluctuation in here. We go up down a little bit. I think we're just under 2768 as far as active listings in the Omaha and Lincoln area. Douglas Sarpy County is at 1682. I think we're at 1673, I think is what it was last week, if I remember right around that, give or take a couple. 771, I think we were at 774, last week. So you don't see that number fluctuate as much. 911, on the new construction that's active in the Douglas Sarpy County, 2.2, and our average price went up $1,000. But like I said, this doesn't really show a whole lot. I show that other graph because you see the one in, one out, what's going on the market, what's going off the market, and you're seeing a lot of that. And then I think we're seeing some of those buyers, with affordability. I think our affordability level here is where they're talking about. I think I was listening to a podcast yesterday. And they're saying our debt to income ratio on average is like, the 37% of the income that you're bringing in is going towards housing, where it should be around 25%. And they're talking that with that number, if we want to get back down to that 25, there's like the three factors. You have interest rate, house prices, and income are the three kind of things that dictate, kind of move that around. They were talking on that podcast that the interest rates that are now at 7, in order for us to get to that 25% affordability level, they would have to go down to about 3.5% interest rate to get to that affordability level. And our income would have to go up by about 50%. And then what was the other one? So we had housing prices, interest rate,
income.
Blank. Income was have to go up 50%. Interest rates would go down to 3.5%. And then our marketability, we'd think we have to get a third more houses up there. So we'd have to get, a third of that. We'd have to get another 1,000 houses on the market to maybe bring some of those prices down. So, I mean, I don't necessarily, and they were talking like, we don't necessarily see that changing too much, from prices to, interest rates to go from 7% back down to 3.5%. They're talking over the next, and Russ obviously touched on this a little more, is in over the next year and a half to be down maybe around 6% potentially. But there's a lot of moving variables and stuff. So they were just talking about how, in general, but that's, some interesting data that I found that was kind of curious, being on the real estate side, not necessarily on the lending, but that's kind of what we're seeing. So, but I guess, I mean, Russ, what are you seeing as far as interest rates, I guess, in this last week? And I guess give us your little rundown.
As we talked about a little bit last week, Mark, we had 11-day period of time there where there really weren't any major economic reports coming out. And so the markets were paying attention to the Fed speakers, and the Fed speakers have been taking a hawkish tone, which would lead towards a higher rates for a longer period of time. Obviously, the Fed has said they're data dependent, and I believe that. But we did see rates move back up over the last several days, partially in response to it being a holiday period of time, but also some better than expected consumer confidence numbers and kind of a poor reception to some U.S. Treasury sales. Folks, don't be discouraged by this. We still have a trend that we will see some better rates as we head into the latter part of the year and into next year. Certainly, there can be some things that can upset that. But the point that I would want to make is just what Mark had mentioned, and we've talked about every week, Mark, is home values are likely to continue to show some upward signs of pressure because we just don't have enough supply and we have a lot of demand out there. So I know that Barbara Corcoran from Shark Tank and many others have talked that if we see rates drop by even 1%, the number of people that will re-enter the marketplace will put more upward pressure on home prices. And just in the last week, the Federal Housing Finance Agency, which is a governmental body, as well as CoreLogic and others, came out with data that suggested over the last year that home prices nationwide have gone up by 6% per year. So even with this high interest rate environment, and we're continuing to see home prices rise. So having said that, rates are up in the short term here, but we do continue to see likelihood that we'll see those improve. Certainly in the event that you're needing to close on a home very quickly here, you may be at a rate that's a little bit above where you might like to be, but we'll right size that for you later on in the year. And if you're thinking of buying later in the year, keep in mind that you may get a little bit better rate then, but you likely are going to be paying more for that home as the year goes on. So what I encourage you to do is get in touch with Mark and his team to make sure that you have all the information so that you can make the best decision for you and your family.
Yep. And then, so just everybody knows we do have one new listing that went live on yesterday. Let me share it here for you. So it's at 4160 North 61st Street. It's 142. So we don't see very many. I've been having some clients looking kind of on this price point. There's not a lot out there in that under $150,000. So it's a fantastic house, updated, off about 60th and Ames Street. 61st and Ames is kind of the ballpark around that Benson area, just a little north of the Benson area there. But got a 2-car detached garage. As you can see the pictures as I kind of click through it here, but you can jump on our championsrealestateteam.com website and check it out and reach out to any one of us here at Champions Real Estate Team. Rich Howdle is the listing agent on our team here. So give me a holler for 672-7670 if you want to check out this one. Also have a new listing going live on Friday. So down in Hickman, Nebraska, which is just south of Lincoln by about 15-20 minutes. It's a great little suburb of Lincoln, small town, kind of just city there. In that regard. So that is going to be a split entry with 3-car garage. It has been meticulously maintained. The sellers are very particular and keep that thing, spotless. So it's going to be an awesome house for people. It's got granite countertops, wood floors and things of that sort. So it is a great listing. The garage is an awesome garage. I mean, he's epoxied the floors. It's a great little area to entertain in as well. In there too. So, and then they just put a brand new patio out. I think was it last year, the year before, finished fenced in the yard. So it's going to be a great listing at 350. So we got that coming on Friday. So I will share that too on our Champions Real Estate Team page and all my social media. So don't want to take a look at that. Give me a holler. Happy to show that to you. So that's going to be at just down in Hickman, Nebraska. So it's in a great little kind of new construction subdivision. So it's a great little area down there at 350. So but yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, if you have any questions, if you're out and about this weekend, give me a holler and jump on our Champions Real Estate Team website here. We're actually getting a new website. So I got it in the process of getting all revamped and all that good stuff. So once we launch that out there, I will let everybody know and you can kind of check it out and let us know what you think. If there's any features that you like, dislike, wish would change if you're using our website, give me a holler. Yeah, let me know. I will pass it on to our IT team that's building the website out. And if there's features that we can add in there, we will happily do it to make it more user-friendly, mobile-friendly, get you all the correct information. I think that's the biggest thing is making sure the information is accurate, coming from the multiple listing service, and making it easy for you to navigate through and reaching out to us to help you with all your real estate needs. So, but if you have any questions, give me a holler and we will talk to everybody soon. Do you have anything else you want to add, Russ?
Sorry about that. It's some background noise. Nope. Just enjoy your summer and be sure to check your tax assessed valuation and let Mark's team know if they can help you.
Yep. Awesome. Well, take care, everybody. We'll see you.